While tearing off a game of golf, I may make a play for the caddy, but when I do, I don't follow through.
Hey everybody, this is Mike from A to Zen. I am super excited. We actually started talking about this pre-pandemic, I believe.
Yes, it's finally happening.
We are going to have the Martin and Monroe Show right here at A to Zen.
Yes.
I'm here with Bob Cottle and Sherry Lynn.
Sure.
Help me?
La Boissonnier.
La Boisonnet.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes,
Is
sir.
it close?
Like Chevrolet.
So what kind of show do you guys do? I mean, I know, but let's tell them.
Yeah, well, it's a Rat Pack tribute.
Nice.
So basically, we're part of a larger show called the Dinoholics, a Rat Pack tribute show that, again, pre-pandemic, we traveled around the country, hitting nothing but casinos and theaters and lots of stops in between, all over between the 3,000 miles back and forth. Say from Dayton to Daytona.
Yes.
Yeah, and
We started in our first tour in 2015.
yeah.
So you guys have been at this for a while then.
Yeah. So when the whole lockdowns and all that fun stuff happened, and we started slowly opening up again, she and I created our own little show where we were doing Italian restaurants and all that kind of stuff. So we never thought we would be playing little Italian restaurants, but after the lockdowns, we were happy to.
Oh,
And everybody was excited to have live music again, so we started doing that, and we had so much fun with it. We basically kept doing it, and we're doing shows with the two of us. And I mainly do Dean Martin,
right.
and
I can see that.
we touch on little Frank, little Elvis, and of course she does Marilyn, and
She's top notch, Marilyn, and the Dino thing. We need to just get the Scotch glass in your hand.
there you go. You know, I've never been on stage sober. What's wrong with me? But yeah, so now we're and then when we were back on the East Coast doing some shows in Florida, I was used to always having a band, and back there they're more interested. I guess everyone in Florida is from New England, and their grandmother was cooking in the kitchen, playing Sinatra and Dean Martin and everything. That they could care less about the musicians. They're more concerned about the characters themselves and the vocals and everything. So unlike California, the West Coast, they wanted the musicians. So we've been popping around and teaching everybody. It's a good time with or without them. So that's what we're doing now. Is like we're doing the Rat Pack tribute post lockdown, and it's been pretty successful. We booked a lot of shows recently. We didn't know how many people were going to remember who we were after COVID.
Well, we met pre-pandemic. I am right about that, right?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
guys
yeah,
were
yeah.
in
No, we
before the
talked
pandemic,
about doing something.
and I
for
wanted to
years
do
now.
something. Suddenly, the world closed. It's
Exactly.
I looked at the schedule for December, and there are 17 dates out of 31 days that are booked for shows. And some
were
days are 2 to 3.
Yeah.
So where are you guys going to be other than here?
For big
We've
shows,
got
shows.
Christmas time. It's corporates and theaters, and then we love going by and even seeing folks at the retirement communities and stuff too. So
Senior
yeah. So
living,
Christmas we
memory
do a
care.
lot of.
Memory care is so touching. We have a very wonderful time with
Oh, yeah.
them. To watch
So
them
in
come back
memory
to life.
care, I wonder, because I'm just somewhat acclimated to that environment, how many of those residents just suddenly come back to life?
Oh,
I was just
We
going to
have a few.
mention I've had audiences over 70,000 people, and it's a little nerve wracking when you get numbers like that. That didn't affect me like going into, like I said, with memory care, retirement communities. We have it never fails. It always seems like someone who works there parks someone in a wheelchair an hour before the show while I'm setting up.
Right.
And the person may or may not be, they're usually not there. So I'll try and strike up a conversation with this person, find out that they're not there, and I'll continue setting up, and then the show starts. And I remember one time, I think we're in Oklahoma, there was nobody home at all, trying to talk to this gal, and her muscles were all tight and bound up and everything, and she just wasn't there. And then the show started, and I'm singing halfway through the show. I'm singing, and I look over at her, and her feet are tapping, and she's like lipping the song, and I'm just like, it took literally everything I had to finish that song, because I was like, oh my gosh, she's like waking up. And
That's huge.
that's probably my biggest moment in doing this in all the years we've been doing this. And we've done some amazing shows with a lot of celebrities and amazing venues all over, the Caribbean or whatever, all fancy places and everything. But that touched me more than anything, by far.
They usually do because they remember us as Dean and Marilyn.
Right.
And people will say, oh, I saw them at the Flamingo or the Copacabana or whatever those places in Vegas were.
Right.
And, or even when we met at the Calneva in 2011.
Yeah, we actually met at the Calneva where...
in Lake Tahoe.
That's fairly appropriate.
Yeah, my band, the Dinoholics, was basically like kind of a house band at the Calneva, and she was a tunnel tour guide that did Marilyn on the side, and there was a corporate event that came into the Sinatra showroom that hired her as Marilyn and us as the band, and she's been on stage with us ever since that day. So basically, Dean and Marilyn met in Frank's showroom up at the lake and got married and still performing to this day.
It was a love at first sight kind of thing too. He was married to somebody, I was married to somebody, and I remember people saying stuff, and I was like, no, I just want to
Now we're a
work with
country
them.
band, both
and then
married,
all of
but
a
not to
sudden,
each other.
Let's
few
put
years
that one
later.
right over there.
So we've been doing this for over 10 years together, and it's still going strong. And there are more songs out there that are on the program that we use that allow Marilyn to do more songs, because there are so many songs of Dean and of Frank.
Well, we were actually talking about that before we came back here. Is that a lot of people associate Marilyn Monroe as an actress,
Right.
and forget that she was a singer and she sang lots of songs. So you actually cover a lot of songs she sang.
Yeah,
do.
she's got quite the soundtrack. Most movies have something from her.
I'd forgotten that until this conversation.
So I Want to Be Loved by You from Some Like It Hot. Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend from Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Running
Birthday.
Wild from Some Like It Hot. Happy Birthday.
From Washington, D.C.
That's one of the ones we do. And it's very special. Sometimes we'll get a coordinator that will say something beforehand and say, oh, we have someone very special who is going to have a 100th birthday, and we'd like Marilyn to come out and sing happy birthday. So
But you don't have to be 100 to come see the show.
No.
Marilyn Monroe, everybody.
So it's your birthday, and in my book, that makes you a president. So I'm going to sing you a happy little song that goes like this. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, President Bob.
I did get, a lot of my costumes are custom made, and I did get the happy birthday gown. It's got about 10,000 rhinestones on it.
Wow.
And it sparkles. It's beautiful.
You come out of a cake and everything?
Well,
We just acquired a
we
cake.
just
You just acquired
a
a
We've
cake.
had dozens of people ask us, I don't think they want me to come out of a cake, but have asked her to come out of a cake, and we wanted to do it, but we said, get it, we'll make it happen, and it just never happened. And then about a month ago, we had someone show up, and they had the cake, they wanted to do it, and they did it, and of course we wound up buying it, because I'm like, what are you going to do with it after today?
Right.
And I know we can use
We
it.
can use that.
Yes. So we're not shopping for a trailer for cake deliveries. So if you have
If
any
you ever
clothes,
see a trailer with a giant cake cruising down the road,
yes, with Marilyn on it, yeah, you'll know it's us.
I'm curious about the paddle.
Oh, yes.
So tell us about the paddle.
Okay, so today I have...
And you guys got to actually know, she came in dead ringer and had to remind me Misfits outfit.
I did. I was wearing all denim, but I figured there's a lot of girls who wear denim. So I wanted to wear something that would remind you of Marilyn.
Right.
And this was in the movie The Misfits.
Which was filmed right in Virginia City, Dayton.
That's right.
Right here in northern Nevada.
Yes.
And in the Dayton bar scene,
And
big
Marilyn
happening
is in
scene.
this dress, and she has a paddle,
With Clark
and
Gable.
she's trying to do the paddle as many times as she
I
can.
do not remember this scene.
Like I said, the only reason I know, we've got a big poster of it.
And then all of a sudden, you have
Yeah.
someone spanking her, and Clark Gable steps.
Yeah.
Was it Clark Gable who stepped in? I don't think it was. I think it was the other actor. Oh, is it like this?
Okay.
So has the paddle
All right,
ball
this
become
is another video.
has the paddle ball become part of the act?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna hit myself in the face between
Yeah.
the eyes.
Usually
That
I'm
was
performing
this.
or something while she's doing this. I'm not
But
sitting
this
on the
is
couch
fun.
next to her.
I think it's just more like this, right? You're just supposed
Yeah.
to bounce it like this. Well, not too much bouncing. But
But yeah, we've had some fun opportunities doing shows. We've done a lot of shows with the USO
Wow.
in Fort Hood. We have a show where, and I don't know if many people know this, but when Bob Hope retired from the USO, Wayne Newton took over as the face.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so we were back at the USO fundraiser. It's basically what we did was the big dinner for the people who write the big checks to send the celebrities over, because it's the older folks with money who know who we are.
So this
that's
is
why
just
they did it.
recently?
Just pre-COVID.
So the USO is still a thing?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
oh for sure.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
pardon
yeah.
my...
Yeah.
Big time, big time.
Wow.
So, yeah, we have a friend who's a lookalike for Bob Hope who does a great job. So we were back there with Bob Hope. We were Frank, Dean, Marilyn, Sammy, Elvis, like all these dead people running around. And then someone walks up to me and goes, Wayne Newton is here. We need you to sing a song and then introduce him and then bring him up on stage. And I'm like, well, who's playing him? But it actually was Wayne Newton.
Wow.
So I went up on stage and they wanted me to do a Wayne Newton song, and we had a band with us in 17 pieces, so everything was charted. And plus, I've hit puberty, so I'm not going to be able to do Wayne Newton. Donkey Shane when he was 12 years old,
on.
13 years old. So it was fun because I went up on stage, I looked down, and there's Wayne, and I go, Mr. Newton, we're so excited to have you here. You were my great grandmother's favorite performer.
How'd that go over with Wayne Newton?
Well, I've learned that we've done a lot with celebrities, and if you mess with them and play with them, they're so much more open. They
Right.
remember you. We have a great time together instead of just trying to get selfies and autographs and stuff.
Right.
So, so when I said we're gonna do my great grandmother's favorite song of yours, and the only song that we had charted that was even close to his was Engelbert Humperdinck's "Release Me." So we here's 1,500 people at $1,000 a plate. Wayne Newton right in front, and I told him that I'm going to do my great grandmother's favorite song of his, Wayne Newton's "Return to Me." Of course, I didn't tell him until the song started playing. And I remembered when I was younger, I remember that Wayne Newton and Engelbert, they always got intermixed, and they always got mad because they got people would So I said, let's have fun with it, because I'm like, he's never going to see me again, so let's have fun. So we said no, so we did "Release Me," and he was just rolling. Of course, the producers of the event were freaking out because there's $1,000 a plate, 1,500 people, and we're messing with Wayne Newton.
So you just did this impromptu. You just
Yeah.
wrote
Oh
this
yeah.
out. Wow.
So then he came up, and then
It's got to be a pretty stiff environment. $1,000 a plate too. That's got to be
yeah.
fairly.
Well, luckily, I mean, we do a lot of high-end events because we're the only band you can think of that always has tuxedos and gowns in it.
Right.
Because if you're doing a formal event or a big money fundraiser, we get calls for those. So
Cool as that.
so I brought him up on stage. He doesn't really sing anymore, but he can hold an audience in his hands like nobody's business. So that's basically what it was. They were having me sing, and then he went up and was talking to the audience. Well, I didn't know he was going to be there, so I ran out in the audience to see what he was going to do. And he had so much fun with me messing with him. He picked me. I was trying to be a fly in the wall because I didn't pay $1,000 to be in this thing. I just went out there. Well, then he all of a sudden starts having flashbacks. He's talking to me as I'm trying to, like I said, be a fly in the wall. And he's talking about how, yep, I remember when I was, a teenager and I was on the Dean Martin show, and I was walking backstage at the NBC studios, and here comes Dean Martin walking at me.
Oh wow.
And he goes, Mr. Martin, I'm so excited to get to be on your show tonight. He goes, how are you? And he goes, well, I'm doing okay, except I had a nightmare last night. And of course he goes, well, what was the nightmare? And Dean goes, well, I dreamed I died and went to heaven. I was standing in front of God, and God sneezed, and I didn't know what to say. And he goes, of course, 1960s humor, but he goes, and you can use that. And I'm like, well, normally I wouldn't, but Wayne Newton says you can. I guess you got to
Right.
use it, right? So, but we've had a lot of interactions like that. We had another one where Don Rickles walked on stage, and we didn't know because we were doing a show with Dina Martin. He walks on stage left, and he looks at me, and he goes, "So, you're supposed to be Dean Martin?" And of course, my life and career flashed before my eyes, and I just go, "So, you're supposed to be Don Rickles?"
Wow.
Luckily, it came out quicker than I thought, and he kind of gave me a nudge and kind of gave me the thumbs up and went on over and talked to Dina. But I was like, yes, I took on Don Rickles at 92.
Is he still around?
No, he died
Right.
like 5-6 years
That
ago.
was
I
a
think
little
it
while
was.
back.
Yeah, a little bit before COVID. But yeah, we've had,
I never even thought about how you run into some of those celebrities. You're going to jar some memories.
yeah,
with the
we had Alan Thicke
impersonation.
open for us one time. We had some weird scenarios.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like it was a winery gig, and they're like, Alan Thicke's gonna open for you, and we're like, what does he do? But he wrote all those sitcom themes,
Right?
so he sings all the sitcom themes.
Oh, he was great.
Yeah, and then just a little comedy and stuff he did. But yeah, so and then what was the other one? The Smothers Brothers opened for the Smothers Brothers one time. Got to spend about an hour backstage with what's the funny brother? I can't remember. Shoot, the funny one always plays a straight.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, it was funny because the Smothers Brothers. I can't remember the funny one. Anyway, we were backstage for about an hour, and when he found out that I was doing Dean Martin, he's like, we were supposed to be on the Dean Martin show, and then the Smothers Brothers show got canceled, so they canceled our appearance on Dean Martin, and I'm like, hold a grudge much? It's like 60
Right.
years later, he's
No
telling me
kidding.
about what happened.
What a thing, though, because you're jarring all these. I
Right,
mean, all the way
right.
from the retirement homes we were talking about to actually running into some of the old celebrities that are still ticking
Right.
along. And just bam.
Yeah. Well, and then we'll do concert series where they'll do like a disco theme, and then they'll hire all the old disco divas from back in the day, and they'll be there, and we've seen these, and then they'll hire maybe Seal or somebody else, and then
Seal the singer?
yeah, and they'll hire.
You've been at gigs with Seal?
Well, no, it was on their schedule.
Okay.
So they were like the week before, the week after, and like Maroon 5, I remember, was on this one schedule, and it's like all these names you've heard of,
Sure.
and then the Dinoholics. It was because we're the only ones around doing that music because the original they wanted all the original guys, but all the original guys were gone.
I am really looking forward to, because I mean, we had the conversation. I was raised by a trumpet player in the Nevada showrooms and stuff, and so, but what you guys do is timeless.
Oh yeah,
It is just timeless. Everybody's aware of it. Everybody has a bit of nostalgia that pulls back to that era, and it's just a huge part.
right. A lot of our shows are really successful, and then other shows are racing across the country to find people who remember who we are.
Well, they don't know.
Because they'll go like, oh, Marilyn, Frank, Dean, Sammy, Rat Pack, Marilyn. Oh, Marilyn. It's like, well, she was a part of the Rat Pack, but it was funny because so like I said,
Marilyn was part of the Rat Pack.
She was a mascot. So they
it's
were-
kind of like Shirley MacLaine and
Okay.
Angie Dickinson and all those guys. Yeah,
So they were the ladies that would sit in the front row and watch the boys.
because
perform
Marilyn
on stage.
spent her last weekend was with everybody up at Calneva. And she died the week after that, so she was up there with everybody playing it in Nevada. And
That's the funny thing about how we met. I was 36, and she died when she was 36. It was the same exact weekend that she was there, and she had been known to have passed away and was brought back to life. So it was the same age, the same weekend, and he was playing.
so now we're
Dean.
getting into Virginia City ghost stories.
Oh.
That's
so-
actually pretty ironic,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. So it's one of those things that just the universe brought us together, and we're still doing it. It's good.
Yeah. So we were back east, and part of the reason we came back was when the lockdowns happened, we came back, but we were hoping that we were going to wind up going back and actually doing some work at the Calneva. But we're still waiting for that to happen. I think it's got another new owner. I think that they're actually Going to get it open, we hope. But the good news is I did take a tour. I had a security guard gave me a tour about 4 years after it closed. And the good thing is they do have all the asbestos out of the building. So that should be a really good sign that hopefully the Calneva will get saved up there, because that was the biggest expense they had. So we're hoping
It's
and
such a
praying that
historical
Oh yeah,
property.
yeah. And that was so much fun playing in that Sinatra showroom and the history they had.
Right.
And then we got to go up there, and that's basically how I started the Deanoholics. I got a call, and one of the first shows I ever did, I won a contest on a cruise ship doing Dean Martin, and someone was there that told the owners of the Calneva about us, and they're calling me, and I didn't even have an act yet. So we literally built the act, or we came up with the name Deanoholics.
For a show at the Calneva?
Yeah.
Wow.
We started on Sinatra's showroom, in the Sinatra's stage. I was like, well, we can't pass an opportunity like this. Let's put the show together.
There's a lot that seems to be meant to be about what you guys
Yeah.
do, actually. Because, I mean, you guys are legitimate at what you do. I mean, I've always come across people that are, especially here, there's a dozen Mark Twains and all that.
Right,
kind of thing.
right.
Fun.
Yeah. Well, my first memory was watching the Dean Martin show with my dad. I didn't really know that much about Frank other than the Barbara Walters interviews that didn't always go that great.
Wow.
I always, because with my age group, I thought Frank was he was a little older when I watched, and he's a little grumpy, but Dean was always awesome, great personality, and just, and I feel like I have a similar sense of humor to him. So when I get up there, a lot of times we're just having fun with the audience, and almost forget the characters because we're having so much fun with the audience, because we've been doing it so long.
I'm really looking forward to seeing it, actually. I've seen some video and stuff, but I'm looking forward to seeing it in person. Can somebody reach out to you if they want to do a party or something?
For
How does
sure,
somebody get
for
in
sure.
touch with you?
Yeah, we can do the whole band. We've got a 17-piece big band, or something. We can do something smaller where it's just Marilyn and myself.
There's your postcard. You can lift that up, and it's got
I
all the
lost it.
information right on
Where'd I
it.
go? Where'd I
But
put it, John? Did you
email's
see
real easy. It's
Oh, here it is.
there you go.
There you go. If you can zoom in
And
on
we'll
that,
put a
all the
graphic up.
information's
Yeah.
on
We'll put a
there.
graphic up with the email and how to reach out to you guys and get in touch with you guys.
Yeah. So the number
We got
there's
the Martin and Monroe.
530.
Which camera, John?
There you go.
Martin and Monroe.
530-608-9324. Call or text. And then, of course, the email is ratpackevents, plural, ratpackevents@yahoo.com. And we're redoing the website right now.
And here's the rat.
And our
Pack
website
side.
is ratpackevents.com.
Cool.
The band.
All right. So they'll just reach out to you. I'm super stoked. You're coming to 8 is in. January 18th, 7 p.m. right here.
Right here. Finally going to happen.
Been working on it for a while. Had to go through a whole freaking pandemic to get
Yeah, I
here.
don't want to go through that again. I don't want to go through that again for a second show, but we're looking forward to the first one for sure.
Anything you guys want to add? How do you-
No, just that we're going to be looking forward to it. If you want to see us before then, look around. We're going to be all over Reno and Northern California.
Do you have a website that
And
has your
Christmas
schedule on
time.
it or anything?
I'm working on it right now, redoing it. It went down over the lockdowns, but it's ratpackevents.com.
Okay.
And it should be up real shortly. We already started working on it. But yeah, we've got a lot of Christmas shows coming up. Obviously with Dean, and then when you're married to Marilyn, you got to do Elvis once in a while, since their voices are similar.
Right.
And when you're talking about Dean and Elvis and Santa Baby, that's one hell of a Christmas show right there, because that's all the Christmas albums, right?
Oh,
So yeah, so we're looking
You
forward to
get to wear cute
December.
little Santa baby costumes.
wow.
Yeah, then we'll come back, and when we get here to 8 is
It's
in.
going to be after the holidays. You going to do Santa Baby while you're here?
No, but we've got a hell of a casino show too.
Do
And that's
you?
what we're gonna do in January. Yeah, not like Frank, Dean, and Marilyn doesn't have enough material outside of the holidays.
Right.
But
No,
so
actually-
we're gonna be touching on it both. About December will be holiday stuff. January will be the casino show, so it'll be fun.
Right here at 8 is in, January 18th, 7 p.m. You can go to 8 is in online, get some more information about the event. Appreciate you guys' time. Thank you for your guys' time.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you at 8 is in.
Have a great day.
to